It's game time decisions here at cleveland.com. The Buckeye Talk crew. I'm Nathan Baird. He's Doug Lesmerises. He's Stephen Means. These are the key elements for today's Ohio State-Illinois game that you need to keep in mind going into today. What are coaches and players going to have to do in order to either bring a win for Ohio State or bring a challenge for Illinois? Doug, what is your game time decision?
So I'm curious how they're going to go about getting after the quarterback in this game. We saw them get close and put constant pressure on Michael Penix against Indiana, but they only had 2 sacks in that game. And only is tough. Only is a tough word. But I want to see if they blitz a little more to kind of supplement that sort of consistent pressure that they get. And does that lead to more sacks? Ohio State is averaging 2.7 sacks per game, which is pretty good, ranks 3rd in the Big Ten. But could they do a little more here? So what will they learn from Indiana? Will it either be that Illinois just doesn't have the same kind of quarterback play, and so the same kind of consistent pressure from Tommy Togiai and Haskell Garrett up the middle and Jonathan Cooper and the other guys on the edge, is that enough? And maybe they have 5 or 6 sacks instead of 2. Or do they do a little more supplementing with blitzing Pete Werner, blitzing Baron Browning, blitzing Marcus Williamson or somebody else, Josh Proctor out of the slot? Curious how that happens. So I want to watch the blitzes in particular. Do blitzes get home? But also just in general, how many sacks will they have? Because I think this is a good time to try to work out. Let's have our pressure turn into a little more production, because that's what we want to have happen when we get to the Big Ten championship game and the playoff. And again, I think a game against Illinois is a chance to experiment a little bit with how they go about trying to get pressure.
So you're talking about Ohio State pressuring the quarterback. I'm going to talk about Ohio State's quarterback. Justin Fields is coming off of the game that first time we ever really saw him really get rattled, I think, by an opponent. And Ryan Day talked this week about how when you're in a passing offense and you're a quarterback for a team like that, you got to kind of just get right back on the horse. You cannot lose your edge. You can't back off. You have to keep going right at it. So Illinois is a team that is susceptible on defense, really kind of either side of the ball. They're giving up 4.7 yards a carry. I think that ranks 11th in the Big Ten. So Ohio State's going to be able to get those ground yards later when it wants it. I would expect them to come out from the beginning of this game and attack through the air again, because I think they want to establish Justin Fields and get him going again. So I don't know if I have a statistic with that. I know, Stephen, your bold prediction for this game, your outrageous prediction was something like 25 consecutive completions for Justin Fields. But I think they're going to come out right from the beginning and use the pass, not really even just to set up the run. I think they're going to come out and use the pass to let Justin Fields kind of flex a little bit and get his mindset right, if that's even a concern, for the rest of not just that game, but really for the rest of the season, kind of get his confidence back and back to where it was these first 3 weeks. Stephen, what is your game time decision?
So these are the top 2 rushing teams in the Big Ten. Ohio State number 1 at 233 yards per game, and Illinois is number 2 at 222 yards per game. But also, Ohio State's one of the 12 teams in the country who aren't allowing more than 100 yards per game. Meanwhile, Illinois is at the bottom of that list. I'm interested in the Illinois' run game. That's all they are. They can't throw the ball at all. They're almost dead last in the Big Ten in passing yards per game. And so if you take away the run from them, like Ohio State did with Indiana, where they held them to -1 yards, they're not going to be able to do what Michael Penix is able to do and just throw the ball for 400 plus yards and attack you that way. They're just not going to have an offense. So can Ohio State keep Illinois under 100 yards again? Can they do it again? Can they keep a team under 100 yards and basically stagnate Illinois' offense? And so they're unable to do anything. And so then it's 3 and out after 3 and out. Maybe you get a couple of picks. Maybe that allows your secondary to play a little bit better because the run option isn't there as much. So I'm interested in that. Can Ohio State take Illinois' only offensive weapon away from it?
Those are our game time predictions. Come back after the game to cleveland.com/OSU for analysis, news, commentary, and get the text 614-350-3315. We'll be talking to you during the games. It's a 2-week free trial, $3.99 a month after that. Come to Buckeye Talk.